Hi, everyone. I'm here with a great friend of mine that I got to know originally when she came into my program. And since we have actually met, but she lives on almost the other end of the world. She is all the way to the west coast of Canada. Beth, so nice to have you here with me today.
Thank you, Hildur. It's really wonderful to see you and to be able to talk to you. Yeah, good to see you
Wonderful.
again.
Yes, you too. And thank you for giving your time here with us today.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I'm so excited to go back uh, to your beginning. It would be so interesting to hear what kind of
Mm.
got you to my world, to like the idea of doing this, what you were going through, what challenges you were going through with your health, and what made you take the step.
Good. Yeah. Oh boy. So when I first came to you, I was very sick. Um, I had just been prescribed a medication for a very rare autoimmune, autoinflammatory condition that I was diagnosed with called syndrome. And I'd
Mhm.
never heard of it before. It was scary. I had high inflammation. I had lost a lot of weight. Without any explanation. I had been covered in hives. I had all the very typical symptoms of Schnitzler syndrome. Then I was put on the recommended medication for it, and it had put most of the symptoms into remission,
Mhm.
but I was still experiencing some negative things and having all kinds of difficulties. And then I was introduced to your course. And I thought, there was just something that kind of sparked in me read a little bit more about this, look into it a bit more. And
Mhm.
when I read over the information, it really reminded me of an experience I had with a naturopath when I was in my early 20s. And I
Mhm.
have not been able to find this information since. And I'm well into my 50s now, but so it
Yeah.
was some time ago. And I was searching for something to support me other than just the pharmaceutical. I could tell that um, my symptoms were just being masked
Mhm.
and it wasn't actually healing me. And I had been told that there's no known cure and that this was not the cure. And so I think what I was looking for were holistic approaches to supporting my health better than just taking the pharmaceutical. So
Yeah.
when I read the information about what your program entailed, I thought this is it. This is what I need. I need a change.
Mhm.
Um, and so I just went in with good faith that I would do the best that I could. I felt like I had absolutely nothing to lose at that point. I felt like nothing else was really working, and I had tried few things. I had gone well down the rabbit hole, as they say,
Mhm.
of it was around the time of COVID, so there were a lot of workshops online, and I was exploring a lot of these only to find out in the end that you were supposed to buy a bottle of supplements or you were supposed to engage in another program and
The magic pill.
yeah, the magic pill. Yeah. And I knew that this was not the case because I had had that prior experience with a naturopath. And I knew that there would be some changes that I would have to make with my lifestyle, with my diet.
Mhm.
Um, and I knew that I wasn't able to do that alone. And when I was, doing all this research myself, I was being pulled in too many different directions. I needed something that was going to lay everything out for me and tell me a
Guide you.
program with tried and true
Yeah.
things that give results. So that's yeah, that was the before. So I was a very sorry, sick woman.
Mhm.
um, and it wasn't just affecting my physical health, it was affecting my mental health, my spiritual health. I felt like I was a burden to the family. I felt like my entire life had been ripped away from me now that I had this illness. The work that I was doing had been taken away, and I thought, what am I going to do with my life? I need to start from the bottom up and rebuild myself.
Yeah. And I remember, like you say, you were on medication and it was masking a lot of your symptoms. But isn't it correct that you were struggling a lot with just like lack of energy and other things that were really imprisonating you, kind of, or?
Absolute fatigue. Yeah, it is one of the symptoms of the condition, and it's
Mhm.
also a symptom of the medication. So the
Ah,
medication would help some of the symptoms, but it was also making me very tired. And I'm still on the medication, but I'm able now that I've been through the program, I live by the program. I have been maintaining it so that my energy levels compared to other people with my condition is way higher. And
yeah.
so I'm finding that I'm able to do things and that my energy had increased. There are things that you can do naturally that will
Mhm.
increase your energy. And
Yeah.
that's what I found out. Yeah, no, I had terrible fatigue and I would spend most of my time lying down and I still had the body discomfort. I had limited mobility,
Yeah.
yeah, and brain fog. Brain fog was a big one as well.
Yeah.
So very frustrating. So also, I think the mental and spiritual aspect of it as well was something that wasn't being addressed when I was looking around. It would just be the magic pill,
Mhm.
and there's so much more to it than that.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
what was your experience then to work the program and go through it also with your fellow students?
Yeah, I was actually part of the very first I guess it was a bit of a pilot project, but the very
Mhm.
first English speaking program of yours.
Mhm.
And there were a few of us in the program. Oh, what was the experience like? Okay, so from the get-go, I would say all the information that was poured on us when we started was like a warm embrace. I just felt like I had arrived at this program and I was most welcome. And then we had our interview with you. That was one of the first things that we did, a one-on-one interview. And I clicked with you right away. I just felt that you really care, that you really went through your own experience. And I felt a lot of similarities and could really relate to you because you had opened up so much about your personal experience and all the struggles that you had gone through trying to regain your health. So there was an immediate connection that I had with you. And then the beauty of the program was its simplicity. You obviously spent a lot of time, and being in the English program, I had benefited possibly from you having done so much work in Icelandic,
Mhm.
but the program just was so comprehensive. There would be this trickle in of information that broke everything down into manageable chunks.
Mhm.
And I think in the beginning, especially, I was so overwhelmed with my illness and what am I going to do? What is this program? What do I have to do? And it was just so clear and concise and welcoming. And then when I met the group and met other people that were going through their own challenges, we all had different things that we were dealing with our health, but hearing other people and being able to open up and to finally talk about things that I think in my day-to-day life, it's just you want to hold back on talking about these things because you don't want to always be bringing that to the table. But when you are so sick and you're searching for answers, that's your whole life. That's all you really have to talk about. So finally, I was in a nurturing environment with other people, and we were all free to talk about it. People were telling me that they understood what I was going through. I understood what they were going through, and it made the world of difference in, week to week or day to day when I was working on the information, we could communicate through
Mhm.
our group interface and say, I'm having difficulties. And people were outspoken. I was outspoken. We were talking about what we were going through, if it was challenging or, we're having a temper tantrum day or a good day, we would share all of this. And it really changed that part of my healing journey.
Mhm.
Um, to have the clear information, to have the support of the group, to have the support of you, Hildur, answering all of our questions. And then there was, of course, Gudborg, who would also come in, who had done the program, and she's an expert with all the information, just incredibly supportive. That if we needed something to be a little bit more tailored for us, it would get tailored for us. Like it was incredible. It felt like we had all, jumped off of this cliff and had landed on a soft landing. And now we were going to get the information that we were looking for and the support that we needed. It was brilliant. And it was real support. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Great
that
to know
was the
because like
beginning. That was the
yeah.
very beginnings. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so nice to hear because this is so important to me that people realize like people are taking tons of, like you say, online courses, and there is a
Yeah.
lot of things out there. But for me, it's the most important that people really feel taken care of, even though I'm working with a lot of people at a time. But it's like they have to feel that I'm reachable and that they feel that they have the support. And that is like so important, like especially in this environment, in this online world. And good that you mentioned that because that is really possible. And
Absolutely.
and
And
people
the
don't
other
necessarily get that everywhere, I think.
and And the thing about being in the position that I was in and that the other participants were in, we're vulnerable.
Mhm.
We're looking for something and we're vulnerable. So we're searching online, we're going after these things, and then you realize you maybe got one little tiny bit of information and you make all these notes. Like I was making all these notes and writing all these things and then watching the next one. And they know how to bait
Mm.
on the internet or the social media or
Mm.
whatever. They put out these things. And so you think, oh, maybe this is the one, and you click on it. And just time after time, the frustration um, and then even in, I guess, the real world, in your local community, where do you go? Do you go to your doctor? Do you go to the naturopath, the homeopath, the Ayurvedic?
Mhm.
Which path do you take? Like
Yeah.
there's so many choices. I think you just have to choose one, and I just feel that I chose right. And I
Mhm.
would just stress that at the time, I felt really vulnerable, that
Mhm.
there are all kinds of programs out there, and you're a seeker, you're searching for something. So, but
Which
when I
gives you
landed,
such a strength that you keep on searching. You have the faith that there is something out there, and then hopefully you land with your right teacher.
that's
And
right. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And it is so
So
important. You say like what way to take, but for me, it's so important that we combine the strengths of each way. So I never encourage people, for example, like you say, you're still taking your medication, you still work with that. And
yeah,
for me, it's so important that we work this with our doctors. And the best thing is when they start to see the difference and start to ask people what they're doing, because in that
that's
way
right.
we are also influencing in a positive way something where there is lack of tools, lack of awareness, and lack of
Yeah,
kind of knowledge to where how to work with these with these things. So I think
that's right.
that's the future, that you have to combine these ways and the strengths of each
Yeah.
approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how was it then? Do you remember kind of like the first inklings of you starting to feel a bit better, and how was that journey for you?
Absolutely. I remember, okay, in the beginning when I started to take the program, I was one of the people that was I have nothing to lose. I'm all in. You
Mm,
just tell me what to do. And I want to skip ahead. I want to skip ahead and just send me straight to the next level because I've already been working on this. And I think when I took a deep breath and realized just go through the steps and be gentle about it. That was one of the missing things that I had. I just felt when I was seeking, I had this desperation
yeah.
that I need to fix myself. And I think that was one of the missing pieces was being gentle with the process and realizing there are going to be things that you need to eliminate, and there's going to be things that we put in, and we're not going to do it all at once. We're going to do it gradually.
Yeah.
And when I did take that deep breath and started to, I needed to eliminate some things from my diet that possibly were difficult, but I had already eliminated coffee. I had already eliminated alcohol and
Mhm.
sugar
Mm,
and things like that. So um, I think when things started to feel better was after I had maybe been doing it for a couple of weeks and I had settled into the program and
mm,
released that desperation that I had to fix me,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
I was on a course and that it was going to happen in good time and as I eliminated the things from my diet, because I didn't have it all figured out, there were more things
Mhm.
that I needed to tailor for myself that needed to come out. And what I realized was as I started to take some things out, my body became clearer and could talk back to me and say, okay, thank you for taking those things out. I also would like you to take out these things. So now
Mhm.
that you've cleaned me out a bit, I'm letting you know that I'm actually sensitive to these other things. And then those things would go. And then it would become more clear. And then things started to happen like the brain fog
Mhm.
going away, better sleep,
Mhm.
better mood, right?
Yeah.
So my optimism and my hopefulness and my self-assuredness started to increase,
Mm.
which improved my mood, which I'll tell you later can lead to some surprises later in your life.
Yeah.
You can feel these little changes, but be prepared that maybe some big changes are going to happen later on, right? Um, and so an increase in energy, and then slowly but surely, other things started to get better, more flexibility in my body. And as we moved more and more through the program, I was noticing I'm feeling more stability on my feet. Let's see, my digestion is improving. That was a big one, and it kind of went back and forth. But with the diet change and supplementation and stuff like that, I started to get on track. That started to help my sleep, my
Yeah.
mood.
Yeah.
Incredible. And so these things were all linked together. It's not like everything is in brackets and that one thing will improve, then another thing will improve. It's all this ebb and
Mhm.
flow, and one thing affects another, like the digestion and the sleep, the sleep and the mood and the digestion,
Yeah.
all these things. And when you start to get a clearer head, your life starts to change. And
Yeah.
when you get a better sleep and you increase your mood and you start to see the positivity of seeing positive results in your body, but it's not just even in your body, it's in your mind, it's in your mood, it's in your interactions with people. It yeah, it's incredible. I think back to um, how I felt. In the very beginning, I didn't have any sort of a meditation practice. I
Mhm.
tried, but um, I I didn't have the sticking to it. It was just sort
Mhm.
of like, again, that desperate seeking. And when things started to calm down for me, I found that it was easier to meditate. It was easier to do more self-care, go for walks, do nice things for myself. And the more I started to feel good, the more I wanted to do it. So the ball started to get rolling. It wasn't, I have to stress, it wasn't one thing. It was a few things, or maybe even many things that were happening simultaneously in different degrees, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, the improved mood and the focus and the
Mhm.
sleep and the digestion. And then later on, you start to know these wonderful things happen, like your body changes and you could very possibly lose a bit of weight that you've
Mhm.
been carrying because you were eating the wrong things or your digestion was off. And you'll notice possibly that your skin looks more vibrant and you look
Mhm.
healthier and you have a bit of a glow about yourself.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and then people started to actually comment on it. Like, I know that you're up to something, and
Yeah.
I can see that the
What are
medication
you
is
doing?
working
What
for
have
you.
you been doing? Like, yeah.
Exactly. It must be the medication. And I'm like, no. No, it's the supportive things around everything else. I mean, it all goes together,
Yeah.
but I think that's what you really teach is that it's a package deal, and we have to look at things holistically, you know,
Hmm.
the mind, body, spirit, and the connection, and even what we're saying to our body.
Hmm.
When I started to reflect and realize what was happening in the chatter in my mind, my self-talk, as they say, you know, that started to become a very positive thing, and it all nurtures everything, and talking to the group and speaking positively to each other, and there was a lot of love that was going back and forth and support that you want to continue. You want to make those healthy meals, you want to
Hmm.
make those healthy choices, and the reward is noticing that you're starting to feel better, that you're
Hmm.
visually seeing the change in yourself. Maybe there's an improvement in your hair. Maybe you're noticing your nails are growing, um,
Hmm.
quicker,
Yeah.
that you're, eliminating,
Yeah.
in your digestion so
Mhm.
much easier and things like that. And you're more comfortable in your body. And that is the reward, that when
Mhm.
you go through all these steps, and
And I,
you
yeah,
and take it slow, right? And
yeah.
you do the process, that you will see the results. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Wonderful to hear. I think
Yeah.
also what you say, it's so interesting. Like people are maybe in lack of energy or really in some discomfort and pain. So that is your focus point, and you're just like, this is
Yeah.
the problem I will be resolving. But then, like you say, there are all kind of little things that start to improve as well, and you are like, oh, I didn't realize, or
Yeah.
didn't actually realize
Yeah.
that that could be changed, or that was actually a problem and all that. And the mind,
Yeah.
there is a beautiful, like, so descriptive word in Icelandic, where
Yeah.
what my students say so often is like, I love when I finally got, and it said nenna, and that means like
Yeah.
when I feel that I want to do things. It's not I have to force myself to do that,
Exactly.
but it's
Yeah.
like that I can't bother, but it's like it's not the right that's kind of a direct translation, but the meaning is like wanting and having joy in doing things. And this is such a beautiful, like I'm so like it would be so great to have this English word, but we don't, there is no word that
I
sums
love
up.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. And I love that you say that you want to do it, because like in my head, I was thinking about how my motivation changed, and
Hmm.
it's exactly what you're talking about right now about wanting to do stuff. It was like it had shifted from craving sugar, craving caffeine, uh craving watching something that is mind
Kind of
numbing to
numbs
take me
you
away from it.
because of like all the sluggishness in your
It
body. This is like the only
exactly.
thing maybe that you can relax over. Like, yeah,
Exactly. So you would crave those things, right? Because something was feeling off.
yeah,
So you're kind
yeah.
of self-medicating yourself with these things. And then as you go along, like as you take these baby steps, you'll find that you start craving things like fresh carrot juice with a bit of lemon or lemon water. And it is the feeling that it gives
Mhm.
you. It's not numbing you,
Yeah.
it's enlivening you, right? And so you just keep getting more energy and you start to reach for the things that energize you. And you might not even realize what day it is, but you'll wake up one day and you go, this shift has kind of happened this week. Something's different. I couldn't even conceive of eating a bag of gummy bears
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
your poison is, right? That it wouldn't give me the pleasure because I can feel the feeling in my mouth and I know how I'll feel after the sugar
Yeah, it's
crash
not
and
just the
everything.
taste. You start to connect to your whole being of like what it would make you feel like and the consequences
Absolutely.
of it. And
Yeah,
like you said, like you started to feel like that you started to want for going out for walks. Like that
that's
was
right.
the change. And there are so many people that are like come to me and they have the whip on their back of like I should like move more and I should and I should and I should. And
Yeah,
it's really like we don't accomplish a lot of things in life if we go from that like space of like I should and force yourself because like people are not doing it because the capability is really just not there. The energy
yeah,
or the will or the joy or but the beauty
yeah,
is actually when you start to like instead of like you say numbing yourself with all kind of things it
yeah.
starts to like it was so beautiful one said to me like it was like opening up the curtains like all of a sudden the light was coming in but like
That's it.
it's
Exactly.
from being in this numb state of like seeing and wanting exactly the things that you before were trying to push yourself towards.
Yeah. And I would just say that if anybody was in the position now where they're like, oh, that's easy for you to say,
Mhm.
it wasn't the case in the beginning. I was overwhelmed. I was having troubles moving. I had good days, but I had a lot of bad days. And there are days when it's okay, well, I need to make these changes, but I don't even want to get out of bed. Like, so how do I do it? And I would just say that I would hope that you do whatever you can when you can. And that if you have any supports, if you have a friend that could come by that could help you, or you have a partner or a family or something that could support you with the program, that to get you going in the beginning.
Mhm.
It's very important. And I know that it may seem like, well, if I'm tired all the time and I feel so bad all the time and my body hurts and everything, how can I even make it to the kitchen? Or how can I even do this? I can't even focus right now. The thing is that it will be a slow process and that
And that is
things
so
will
important,
add on.
exactly to simplify. Like,
Yeah,
okay, if you are in that state, how can we do it in such baby steps
yeah.
and like simplify the whole thing to make it easy for you to be able to get to the place where you have more energy and better feeling, where you can tackle it way like broader, right?
And then I would just say to you, it can happen. It can happen. I did it, and it's like Hildur, your motto was always if one person can do it, another person can do it. I really believe that. I think you just have to say to yourself, I'm willing to start, and that your journey won't be exactly like my journey,
Hmm.
right? It will be your journey, and you'll make your first baby steps will be the ones that you make. Your
Mhm.
eliminations and add-ons will be yours. You know,
Mhm.
it's different for everybody, but it's possible. And I look back at the person I was in the very beginning with a lot of compassion, because I think about, I could get emotional right now, but about how brave she was to take that first step, because there were a lot of obstacles to overcome, a
Yeah.
lot of obstacles. Yeah,
And that's like the bravery of like allowing yourself to have hope again and to take
absolutely.
the courageous step of giving this a chance because
Yeah,
like you said you had gone everywhere and tried everything and it's like why should I do one more thing? I've tried it all like and that is so
exactly.
important. That is such an important thing to kind of really tap your shoulder for that, like to have had that courage.
Yeah, give yourself some credit that
Mhm.
it is not easy to be sick. It is
No.
not easy to be sick, to go through life with everything that it entails and to be sick on top of it. Oh, yeah.
Yes, and everything
So,
that you have to sacrifice.
mhm,
It's like so. I mean, it takes one to know. It's like
yeah,
you have to somehow have gone through it to really understand, because no one
yeah,
can understand what a person is going through with all those challenges.
yeah,
And so it's kind of sounds that you would definitely recommend this to a person that is thinking about maybe taking on the
absolutely.
journey.
Absolutely. I would say I would highly recommend it. I would 100% do it again. I have all the information still,
Mhm.
and I refer back to it. And I'm not perfect all the time. I will go through the holidays and then realize that maybe I need to clean up a bit, and oh gee, why do I not feel as good as usual? Well, maybe I need to pull back and
Yeah.
revisit a few things. You know, but
Which is
I am,
beautiful because it lives with you. Like
it
it keeps
does.
on working for you. Yeah.
It's a breathing, living thing that
Yeah.
you take with you, and um it's a new lifestyle. It's an overhaul kind of
Hmm.
thing. And I don't mean to say that in a way that oh, that's overwhelming or anything like that. It's in the best possible way. And
Yeah.
then when for me it's been a couple years or a few years now,
Yeah.
that you will continue to see changes. And when
Hmm.
you take hold of your health,
Yeah.
you're taking hold of your mentality on life,
Mhm.
that you are worth the time and effort to be as healthy as you possibly can be, right? Your version of whatever, your healthiest version of you is,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that you can um achieve other things as well. It's like it reprograms your mind. If I can do this, what else can I do? And like I said a little bit earlier, just be prepared that maybe some big changes are down the road for you as well.
Mhm.
And I mean positive changes, right?
That
That
you can maybe
those
not imagine at the beginning. Like
exactly.
it's not in your somehow reality because you cannot see through, right?
I'm not that sick person anymore. I
Mm.
can't put up with a lot of things that I put up with back then.
Yeah.
There's no space for that in my life anymore,
Wow.
right? Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that all came from the program. That was a happy add-on. I
Yeah.
think that it's going to change your life with the physical health that you have. And then when you are living that and you embody it, it's going to trickle out into other aspects of your life, and you will see positive changes.
Because you start to choose the right and good thing for you, right?
You start to really love yourself
Yeah.
and choose the beautiful things for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it
Yeah.
goes like from necessity and like being in pain and you
Yeah.
have this hope when you take the
Yeah.
steps in the beginning. But when, like you say, you start to feel
Mhm.
better and you start like and you become excited about what comes next. And it like it shifts you from such a
Yeah.
yeah, your whole being. Like it's so descriptive exactly from that of
Yeah.
of just acting from hope, and then you act from excitement because you get so excited about the positive change.
Yeah. And you act from empowerment.
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
you are basically affecting the positive changes in your life, and you are
Yeah.
rewriting perhaps your future with all
Yeah.
the possibilities that you thought maybe that you had given up at some point.
Yeah. And I think the beautiful thing, why I was drawn to the program is that it is a very nurturing program and you live by example.
Mhm.
You know, you share your story, you live by example. It's not like you're this lofty person that is detached from us or
Mhm.
anybody that's in the program. It is very much that philosophy. If one person can do this, another person can do it. And I would just add on to that that it will be your own unique journey, you
Yes.
know, that that transpires out of
Mhm.
all of this. So I would say get excited, and I would, like you said, I like I said before, I would highly recommend the program, and I have recommended the program to people, and people have, people do come to me and ask, well, what did you do? And I just say,
Mhm.
well,
Yeah.
this is what I do, and direct them to the program and
Mhm.
say how, how it is and what my story is and everything. And yeah, I would just hope that other people that decide to go with the program, take your time, do it
Mhm.
step by step, and you'll have the information. You can always go back to it and, you know,
Yeah.
at your own pace,
Mhm.
and it would be tailored to your needs. It's not just for people with Schnitzler syndrome, like I
Oh,
had. That it is for, anybody that
yeah.
wants to improve their health.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And exactly like you said, take your, like, go on your own, like, from what you are capable of, what your energy is, what you manage, just like with your psyche of like taking this all in. And it has to be on your, and I'm so often like asking people, okay, you might be overdoing it, like take a step back, doing this so it's like workable and you manage to follow along. And that is like surprises some people that I'm not pushing, but like we have to be the kind of the winners in this process. Like we cannot be just like pulled. That's not the
Yeah.
right way. Yeah.
That's actually a really good point. I'll just say quickly that I think that might have been my biggest obstacle. And I would say the benefit of being in a group would be the support that you get from other people, and that you see that they're going through their journey as well. But try not to compare yourself to other people that are in your group when you are doing the program. That it is not that somebody's having a good week and why am I not having a good week?
Mhm.
Well, what am I doing wrong? This was my biggest challenge. I can be a little bit of an overachiever,
Mhm.
and so if I was having a bad week, you know, and and I have shifted that. And what I really appreciated was something that you actually said to somebody else in our group. It wasn't to me directly, but it was to a person in our group who had decided to go out walking. And, he had had more energy than usual.
Mhm.
And he went out and did some hiking. But instead of listening to his body in that moment and realizing, okay, I think this is now the time to turn back, he kept going because I've got all this energy. And then he was down for a couple of days. So it's learning to pace yourself and to honor your limitations in the moment that you have. And that you, just because we live in a society that dictates this, you
Mhm.
don't have to push yourself. You don't have to be on that hamster wheel of, go, go, go. And, you may argue with me that you have many things in your life that you do have to go, go, go. But you can pace yourself. And I
Mhm.
think it's in your private time how you choose to use it instead of going on a power hike to prove
Yeah.
that you are healthy now. Pace yourself and
But it is like,
enjoy.
yes, I so much agree. And but I understand this so well because when you're coming from having been very sick, you are so like used to celebrating the one good day that comes in between, and you know you're gonna feel shitty the day after anyhow, so you make use of this one day. But I'm basically teaching you guys is like savor the moment, like pace yourself, because then it's more likely that the day after is going to be good as well, and you keep on building up. But if you waste it all, it's going to take you longer to hit the next day. So that is like really a new attitude, because we are so used to like it doesn't matter what I do, I am going to feel so bad afterwards. So
Yeah,
I better make use of it. But that is
yeah,
exactly the key. Now we are building up. We are not just like using the moment because we
yeah,
know it's not going to come again for a long time. So
exactly.
that's a
Exactly.
beautiful like new shift that we have to do.
Yeah.
It has been such a pleasure
Oh,
to listen to
yeah.
you, Beth, and really like your approach to the whole work, the your like um, path with this all, and to your being is so beautiful. And I'm sure that so many people could connect to and of course, this is very often like far in the distance, but if we can somehow, like I said, if one person can do, another can. And if we somehow can pick up just like two or three things from people sharing like you're doing, then it comes
Yeah.
the time where we can take it and implement. And I think you have given a little like few kind of treats on the way that is going to help people.
I hope so. If there was anything in what I said today that, stirs a little question with you that I hope it helps you on your healing journey, whoever you are out there, and I wish you all the very best. And if anybody was to engage in Hilda's program, you would not regret it. I still have the information. Like I said, I still follow it. I still, adhere to the diet and the practices, and I could not be happier.
Wonderful. What a
Yeah.
way to close this. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Beth. Pleasure
Thank
to
you.
have this moment with
Uh,
you. And
oh, much love to you, Hildur. Yeah.
thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye for now.